Ladies and gentlemen, and particularly ladies, we have another brilliant e-commerce guest, and that is Grace Vella. I told you today it's going to be a bunch of my friends. So Grace Vella, a wonderful, wonderful founder who went through the Accelerate Me program at Manchester, another University of Manchester alum, and Grace, as you can see her, I told her before we joined the stage, rocking the beautiful Miss Kick apparel. She is the founder of this awesome brand. Just a quick brief on Grace. I think she'll probably share her story because she will be talking to you about culture, branding, and obviously every good brand should have a solid story. So I will not go into super deep detail, but a very accomplished ex-footballer who then turned her career in football into a true movement for girls and women's and ladies football all around the world. So meanwhile, there's a lot of people talking about making a change in the world of women. Grace is actually doing it, and that is something we love to see. So Grace, thank you for your time today, and we are very excited for your presentation.
Thank you so much, Oliver, for that lovely introduction. It's great to be here. I hope everyone's enjoying the event, and I hope I can add a bit of value today. Great to meet you all. My name's Grace Vella. I am the founder and CEO of Miss Kick. Oliver asked me to put together a bit of a presentation around brands and community for today. In particular, I really wanted to focus on community because for me and Miss Kick, building that has just been so transformative and pivotal for us as a business, and it's really drove us forward. So I'm hoping to share with you my top tips of how we've done it, and yeah, just sort of how it's really shaped Miss Kick and how it's helped us move forwards. So to kick us off, I thought I'd give you a brief introduction into myself and my background and my story. So this is me when I was about 8 or 9 years old. Football was something I was super passionate about. I had a really football crazy family, so I didn't have much of a choice. So it was just something I just loved to do when I was growing up. And I was fortunate. I actually signed for Liverpool when I was 14. Got to play through the academy set up there till I was 17. When I was 18, went and signed for Manchester City, much to my dad's disappointment because he's a huge Liverpool fan, and went and played there at the reserve level. And for me, being a footballer was always what I wanted to do. However, as life happens, I got released when I was 18 and I was gutted. I was heartbroken and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like, I put in all this time and effort and I felt very lost. So like a lot of young people do, went to uni. I went and studied psychology. Again, no real plan of what I wanted to do. I just found it really interesting. And it's so true, as one door shuts, another door opens. And it was actually here where I had the idea for Miss Kick, the brand. So I was in my 3rd year of uni and I took an optional placement year and I was volunteering for a homeless charity. And I think being in that environment really inspired me to realise that I actually had so many more opportunities still. Like, I had food on the table, I had family who loved me, I had the opportunity to go to university, and I really wanted to get back in the football space. So I think that, accompanied with this idea I'd had for a while, evolved into Miss Kick. So I had no experience in business. I didn't know how to make a website, didn't know how to make a logo, but just spent a solid 12 months just Googling and learning in my spare time while I was on placement. And we launched the brand and I printed all the t-shirts myself at my dad's football tournament in June 2018, which is this picture up here. And probably it makes me cringe when I look at this stall. But I printed all the t-shirts and we sold 170 on the day. And I was like, wow, this seems to really work. This is something that could actually, people really liked it, and people coming up to me and they were saying they'd never seen anything quite like it before. So I decided I'd go back to uni, get my degree out the way, and from that moment on, I was full steam ahead, Miss Kick. So I graduated in 2019, and 2.5 years later on, we've really grown. I'm still here. We're a team of 6, which is our amazing team down here, which we run and operate in our Manchester City office space. We have a 4G grass wall with a neon sign that was on the vision board right from the very beginning. But the business has just grown and scaled quite quickly over the past 12 months. And down to this has been massively the community, which I want to talk to you all about today. So we recently went through a bit of a branding exercise, and we decided that this was going to be our sort of new line, how we describe what Miss Kick is. So Miss Kick are a football branding community for hair. So community has been something that has just been, it's just seemed so important to not include it in sort of how we describe and talk about Miss Kick. So how it all started, it was quite organic and quite it happened quite naturally. So during the second lockdown, I put this post out on social media to our followers because we were getting so many messages from young girls saying that they were struggling, that they were missing the football. So I thought, you know what, let's make a little WhatsApp group chat and we can invite a few girls in. So I think to start off with, we had around 34 girls, and it just seemed to, they really, really liked it. And this quickly grew to, I think we've got about 1,000 girls now. We've had to split them up into different chats. But what happened, we did it from a really sort of place of wanting to help, but we started to realise how much value the girls were having, and that actually it could be a really good business opportunity as well. So what we did was we sort of structured it a bit better. So instead of just having chats and random sort of conversations, we were like, right, how can we add a bit of structure into this? So we decided to come up with our own ambassador community program, whereby any young female could come and be an ambassador. So this would entail them get like exclusive product discounts. They take part in competitions and challenges. They'd have the opportunity to connect with other like-minded people, and they'd have access to exclusive events and opportunities. So they've featured in photo shoots. They've got to meet some of our athletes and players who we sponsor. And in return for this, they would help us promote the brand on social media. So this is just an example from something we did in the Facebook group recently. So we did a bit of a challenge where they had to post a video on TikTok of them kicking something in their house, and this is just an example of Amy just in the office doing that. And what this does is, although it's something that they find very, very enjoyable, the increased reach and demand and engagement we get from this program has just been so pivotal for Miss Kick. So how we did it, I think another big thing about community building is like it's very, very low cost and easy to do. So we literally set up a Facebook page, we have our WhatsApp group chats, and we do Zoom meetups where the girls get to meet and chat. The Facebook group, it basically runs itself now. The girls like to post in it about all different types of things. So just an example here, a young girl's posted a picture of a mum who's a first game refereeing back, and it's just such an amazing place to be. We also have a WhatsApp group chat. So this is just another example that I've took recently. So we're able to we get customer feedback instantly. So for example, Katie here, who runs our e-commerce, she posted in a question about payment options, and we get that information back instantly, like I say. And for example, another way there down at the bottom, asking like goalkeeper sports towel. It's such good insight for us to see what our customers are wanting and knowing. And then the meetups, so the girls actually get to meet up on Zoom. We're hoping to do more of these in person when COVID allows us to. And then recently we've took it one step further. So we actually have a global community now. We've got ambassadors all over the world, in Australia and Canada, America, New Zealand, all across Europe. And what we found was there was certain individuals who are obviously promoting the brand more, they were more engaged. So we've tiered it up and we've gave them extra responsibility. So this is lovely Charlie here, who is our Miss Kick captain, tie it into the football theme for Australia. And she gets added value. So she might get a Miss Kick captain t-shirt. She gets first dibs on product. And her role really is to help us grow that ambassador program out in Australia. This has been quite helpful because we have ambassadors in Germany, and sadly I don't speak German. So being able to have an ambassador on the ground there who knows the women's football market well, who can speak the language for first and foremost, it's almost like an extension of the team really, and they've really helped to grow sales and demand out there. Recently as well, so all because of this sort of organic, natural affiliation with community, we're actually bringing out our own app. So this is set to launch in a couple months time, and this is entirely down, it's going to be community and content based. So we're going to have like chats where they can talk. We'll be able to post the challenges in there. There'll be a unique ambassador section where the girls can access the special discounts and things like that. And I really wanted to include this slide just to show how important community is to us and how much we value it. So I'm hoping sort of explaining that and going through that is a highlight to you guys, like why community is so important. But just to sort of summarize why I think you should consider community for your e-commerce brands. Firstly, you get to speak directly to customers. So you, like I say, you get the instant feedback on product. You get to really know them as people, and ultimately your customers are king. They decide everything. So the more you know about them, what they like, what they dislike, the more you can create products and create content and social content that will attract them. Also, brand advocacy, it's massive. So word of mouth is such a powerful tool. So I think when you have an ambassador telling their friends, the players, the parents about a brand, it builds that trust because it's coming from them. It's so powerful and it's very authentic as well. And also returning customer rate. Like I think at the moment, our returning customer rate is about 50%. So our customers are coming back. They want to have that next product so they can promote it on their social media and shout about being an ambassador. Also increased reach. So in particular, we'll put a post out on social and we'll be like, girls, can you share this to your story? And ultimately they might not have a massive following individually, but as a collective, that reach is so vast, and they're almost like micro influencers in that regard. And yeah, we see our ambassadors and our captains an extension of the team. Like I say, there's only 6 of us, and the fact that we have over 1,000 girls out in the world talking about Miss Kick, spreading the message, really driving the brand forward. We see them as part of us, and yeah, really beneficial. It's also really low cost in terms of like a marketing tool. So you think WhatsApp's free, Facebook groups are free. We could incentivize them by buying them a badge, costs 50p, and thinking about how much that customer might spend over the year, how many people they'll tell about Miss Kick. It is quite a low cost way to get your brand out there. And ultimately it drives sales. Like I said earlier in the presentation, it's been really pivotal in the sort of growth of the business. It's really have more people knowing about us and increasing the revenue, definitely. And yeah, honestly, I'd say the best part of Miss Kick is this community. Like I've connected and had so much fun with so many people, and I call them my friends. We're a family. In particular, like some of the standout ways we've helped people. I've had a young girl came in to visit us the other week, and a mum was literally in tears saying how this brand, because she can call herself an ambassador, she's her confidence has grown, like she feels part of something, because traditionally us girls in football we're sort of seen and treated second best, and I think the fact that we've put them first, like the girls really do add value. We've had a young girl who sadly experienced a house fire, and all the other community members bound together and were sending her things through the post. And we had another one that stands out to me is 2 young girls went to a football academy in Glasgow, and they were the only 2 girls at the whole academy, and they both had Miss Kick on, and because of that, and they went over, and the young girl was like, I'm an ambassador, and she was like, I'm an ambassador too, and they took a picture together and sent it in the Facebook group, and that it just builds that confidence between them. So yeah, it's so much fun. You get to connect and meet and empower and inspire a community that shares the same values as you. So yeah, I'd say they're the points. And then finally, a few top tips that I'd like to finish off with. I think it's so important that your community has a why and a purpose. So with Miss Kick, we're all about the movement. We're all about inspiring change within women's football, and that's what people really buy into. It's something you need to think of, something relatable and human. So if you've got a business and it's not necessarily like, for example, if you boil it down, we sell t-shirts, but we would never say that as what we do. We talk about our why and our purpose, and I think no matter what you sell or what you do, your business can have a why and a purpose. And it just makes them feel part of something. Like it makes them feel like they're making a difference, so they're more likely to want to get involved. And yeah, like I say, it's not about the product, it's about solving the problem and then being a part of it. Definitely utilize the free platform. So we grew before the app, we used Facebook groups and the WhatsApp chats. And yeah, make sure you identify them die-hard fans, because they're your absolute bread and butter, and create a rewards tiered system. So we started off with the ambassadors, and then we have our captains, and then that makes the ambassadors want to work hard because they want to be a captain. And just think of like the low cost ways that we can reward them. So whether it's a free t-shirt in the post or even a Zoom session, you can come visit us in the office. There's loads of free low cost ways that you can add value. And yeah, one thing that we have done is we've created a discount code for our ambassadors. So like I say, they get, I think it's 15% off, so we can actually see directly how many sales are coming from the ambassador program. And yeah, like I say, really focus on adding value. So for us at Miss Kick, We post about women's football content. We give them the latest updates and scores. We give them opportunities to take part in photo shoots. They can meet the team. They get to meet our athletes, and really focus on them and their needs and them as a customer. So that's me. Thank you so much. I'm going to open up to Q&A. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Miss Kick, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Grace, for a lovely presentation. And now, yes, we can absolutely move into the Q&A. So let me ask the first few questions that we have already popping up in the Q&A section. Wonderful. So the first question is a very important one. So how has sexism affected you in building Miss Kick, particularly as both football and entrepreneurship are both male dominated?
Yeah, I think football definitely prepared me for the business world. It has been a challenge. I think if we start with football, maybe the sort of level and opportunities that I got as a player are not the same as the boys, and it still happens today. Sadly, we get messages from our community saying that in school they're getting bullied because they're a girl, so it is still a problem. And I think in business, that I think if you look at the statistically, like, women don't get as much investment. There are less women businesses, so I do see a lot of synergy between the two, and it's very similar. But I always try and focus on the positive. So I've always tried to prove people wrong, and I think that's why I am where I am, because I went through that as a young girl, as a footballer. So when I come up against things in business, I can imagine when I rocking up to meetings, like the way I sound, I'm a young girl, like people probably look at me and cast judgment, but I always try, like I say, on the positive, and just try and prove them wrong, because that's the only way we're going to see change, is if people like me, young women, are still going up against it, really.
Thank you. And somebody's wondering if you could tell us more about your transition from football to university, and how did you deal with suddenly leaving competitive football?
Oh, it was hard. It was so tough. So I got released when I was 18, and the reason why I ended up in Manchester actually was because I was told my contract was going to get extended, but at the time you couldn't do women's football full time. You had to do something else. So I moved to Manchester, and then I didn't get extended. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It was definitely a big shock to the system. But I think at that point, and again, it comes down to the opportunities for women. I was 18 years old, and unless I was going to make it that season, and I don't think I would have made a career out of it. So sadly, I had to think about what I wanted to do for the future. And if I was a boy, I could have maybe fell down the system a bit more, played in, like, for example, the championship. Unless you're playing top tier women's WSL, it's difficult. It's difficult to manage. So it was tough. I went to uni. I went from training like 5 nights a week to student nights on a Wednesday. It was a bit of a crazy one, but I think it was the right decision for me. I've been through that high pressure environment for such a long time, and I just wanted to be a normal person and experience that. So, and like I say, here I am doing Miss Kick, and I couldn't be happier. I'm so thankful and grateful to be where I am. So sometimes things happen in life, and at the time you don't know why it's happened, but yeah, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and thankfully that was Miss Kick for me.
Yeah, turn adversity into strength and never look back.
Absolutely.
Ooh, now he asks, I am also from the north of England and feel like people look down on me for it, especially as so much of entrepreneurship and VCs are in London. Have you dealt with the same thing? And I think, by the way, this applies not just to the north of England, but obviously we have a lot of listeners from other countries, say India, Uganda, who obviously aren't in the middle of like San Francisco, like the mecca of entrepreneurship. So have you dealt with some sort of like being looked down upon because you're not from like London and that?
Yeah, I think so. But again, I think there's problems. It's not just a location. Sadly, a lot of people face all different types of discrimination when it comes to things like this. So Absolutely. I think sometimes people hear, because I'm Scout, I've got like a really strong Scouse accent. So I think sometimes people look down on me, but and we've been able, Miss Kick's been able to raise funding, and I've been to a lot of meetings where I know people just haven't took me seriously. But like I say, I think there's always some form of discrimination involved, whether that's like race, gender, and I think you've just got to just be brave and keep going and push through. So we like I say, we've done 2 funding rounds in the past 12 months, but that took a solid 12 months of knocking on doors, people saying no, it's not going to work, and just the drive to keep on going, really. So it's tough. It is tough. It's difficult, especially I'm from a very small town and I've had to move to Manchester. But just keep going. Like if I can do it, and that anyone can do it, and I think it is just that perseverance and determination that people have really bought into. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, wonderful. Now, we are near out of time, but a few quick questions. First of all, people love listening to your story. These aren't even questions,
Thank you.
but they're saying how much they love what you have going on. Now, what does your typical day look like? Because back in the day, it was just like standing around, going to like stalls and running stalls near matches. So what does a typical Grace Vella day look like?
Gosh, it's different every single day. I feel like I'm in a bit of a whirlwind at the moment. So I think my sort of role personally has changed dramatically over the past 12 months. So this time last year, it was me and one other person in co-working. So now I have a team of 6, like I was saying. So I've shifted a lot from it being me posting on social media, me doing printing t-shirts, literally everything, to definitely sort of a leadership and managerial role, which is something I've never done before. So I'm learning on as it goes. But gosh, my days are so varied. Last week I was at the warehouse. Next week I'm filming a campaign with a footballer. I do like finance meetings. I think as a founder and of a business, you're so lucky that you get to sort of hover into all the different departments and learn those different skills. So probably a master of none, jack of all trades type situation at the minute. But yeah, it's so varied and things change from day to day. So it's like I just get to do a bit of everything at the moment, which is great.
Brilliant. And 2 very, very quick questions. So first of all, what's your vision with Miss Kick? Where do you see the brand in the future?
I've always had such big ambitions for the brand. Like even when it was just me and my mum at the kitchen table, I said, Mum, one day I want Miss Kick to be the football brand, like for females all over the world. I want it to be all over. I want people to see it as that brand that really drove it forward, that really rode that women's football movement. I want to create the best products specifically designed for female athletes, whether that's shapes, fits, sizes, for all them different women who want to be active. We want to obviously build our community. It's massive, grow that on a global scale. And we also, a big part of what we do at Miss Kick is we have our own charity. So we have the Miss Kick Foundation. And that's all about giving back, because that's so important to me as well. It's about making sure we're making a tangible difference. So hopefully some like Miss Kick events, tournaments, as well as obviously the product side of things as well. But we'll see. We've got a long journey ahead.
Awesome. And last thing, just a very quick question. What is Grace Vella's other sort of favorite brand that does like the why and the purpose well, that got the branding right?
Gymshark. Gymshark for me is the brand. They've smashed it out the park. The way they built it around the community of people who bodybuilders, and they grew it that way. They got out and did events. Like I see that very similar to the Miss Kick, how it's centered around sport. I think they do it so well. So yeah, big shout out to Ben Francis.
Awesome. Grace, thank you honestly for your time and for the insight. Truly amazing, and I wish you the best of luck.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your event. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Actually, let me correct myself. You don't need luck when you have skill, and you, Grace, have skill in abundance to make it big. Not as almost wanted to say the second Sarah Blakely, but you will be the first Grace Vella. So
thanks so much, Oliver. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for watching this video. be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be uploading new podcasts every week where we spotlight some of the world's leading startup founders and VCs to talk about their journeys and experiences in the field.